Okay, yeah, before I get up and get dressed and stuff, I just want to say this. I understand that a lot of us have compassion, empathy, sympathy, understanding when it comes to these Country Wayne skits. And a lot of us see ourselves in what these characters go through. And some of us find it entertaining. It just depends. But me, I don't look at it that way. I look at it as if I had a client and they were Amber, for example, I would want them to watch all the skits with Amber. If I had somebody like Ernestine, I'd want them to watch all the videos of Ernestine so they could relate to what she's going through and be able to see themselves in these characters. There's always a possibility that we can always go through something that these characters are going through. But the fact that y'all are calling me delusional because you don't like the fact that I am speaking something that is fact, which can be proven. Because Amber's not ready for this divorce. Anthony is lying to his attorney. He's making things worse for his attorney. So in the end, both of them gonna lose. Nobody's gonna win because two wrongs don't make a right. And that is the whole point of this. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's just like with Momo. The fact that she went from asking Rafa for money to now your homegirl goes into the store and steals from the store. And now the girl gets caught. And now your whole entire thing might be messed up. And when Diva came in there and told Ralphie, you got who you got when it comes to business, even though Ralphie may be not thinking straight right now, Diva is. She always gonna be the eyes behind his head no matter what. Just like when it comes to D and the fact that he's letting these women run things, and back in the day he would have never done that. You know what I'm saying? In the end, D and Tamara just need to be together and just call it a day. Because neither one of them are doing well when it comes to other people. Every time they get other people, it just don't even work out. It's always a bunch of mess. They might just go ahead on and get back together. Because with the past, that didn't work out, and this situation with Momo and Raquel, it ain't gonna work out either. So they just need to go ahead and get back together. Ralphie and Jocelyn, same thing. Just get back together because y'all are better off with each other than without each other. The guy that she's seeing, telling Terry, he started looking at her more so as a friend than something more. So that means he's got feelings for Sonny. So I got a feeling him and Sonny gonna end up getting together. But do I think the Diva gonna be mad about it? No. Why? Because Diva knows it wasn't intentional. Because her and him are not really like that anyway. So like I said, I just think her and Ralphie need to go ahead and get back together, call it a day, and leave them together. And stop trying to break them up. Because we almost had it, and they did it. They did the okie dokie they always do. So like I said, in the end, it's always something true. But there are times where there's not always something going on. People just create their own chaos. So like I said, people create stuff that don't even need to be there. Create drama that's unnecessary. Drama that shouldn't even have happened in the first place. So it's not the fact that you can't have a quiet life. You just don't want that quiet life. Because you want excitement. You want to bring people into your world that cause chaos and destruction. And it just make a mess. So like I said, you know, this is why sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break. I just think I'm just a little too real for y'all when it comes to these Country Wayne skits. I don't do excuses. I don't do BS. I don't sit up here and say one is better than the other. If two people done negativity the same thing in the same way, then both of them are responsible. So like I said, I don't condone what Anthony did. I don't condone what Amber did. I don't condone what Ernestine is doing at all. But let's talk about Candace for a minute. Candace went in there and Ernestine tore to shreds. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew that Ernestine was going to tear her to shreds because of the fact of the matter that she went on that trip. And me being me, I would be the same way. Why didn't you text Amber and tell her that Shayla was on the trip? That way she would have known. And that way you would have told her that you didn't know. that you were coming on the trip. So now your husband just made things bad for you, and you can't defend your husband on this situation. Your husband knows the situation, and yet he decided to go and hang out with Shayla and Anthony, knowing what they're doing is wrong. If your husband was really about that, he would have just said no. Me and Candace gonna go by ourselves. We're not gonna go right now. Or you just would have told her the truth and she would have said no. So in the end, the fact that your husband's not going to Amber and them and explaining the situation, he leaving you out to the slaughter and leaving you out to dry. And that to me is crazy. So your husband did what he did, and now he's leaving you out there to deal with the consequences, repercussion, and karma. That's insane. I would be pissed. Matter of fact, we wouldn't even be married no more. Because there's no way in the world you going to put me in a predicament where now I'm back at home and I got people going off on me because of the fact that, in fact, the matter of me going and they think I'm around a girl that I actually don't even like. But Candace, you did apologize to her. You did hang out with her, and you shouldn't have. You and Chase could did your own thing. Anthony and her could did their own thing, and that should have been it. Y'all should have been hanging out together like that. So I get, Ernestine's point. So again, it goes right back to what I said. Some people just are not your friends. And the fact that Amanda is still talking to Candace, knowing the situation, that's what I mean by loyalty. Because Amber is pissed off about this, but yet you took Candace's excuse like it was nothing. And then you brought her over knowing that Ernestine was going to go off. But I think that's why Amanda did it. I think she was going to let Ernestine be the one to go off on Candace. Cause I don't even think that Amanda believes what Candace is saying. But because they work together, I think she just was going to be neutral about it. But at the same time, I knew by her inviting Ernestine, I knew that Ernestine was going to be the one to say the elephant in the room. So, in the end, like I said, Amber doesn't really have any friends or family. She has nobody. Because, like I said, Ernestine does look out for Candace. I mean, for Amber, yes, she does. And she did call a spade, but Candace also called a spade in her situation as well. Because you over there playing games with J-Mo. And like I said, it's only a matter of time before Melissa and J-Mo get back together. But I think this time, I think they're going to stay together. And I think that Mike and Sonny, I don't know, Mike may not get Sonny because Sonny might be getting with Sean. So he might end up losing Sonny anyway. Either she gonna get with Sean or she gonna get with the other guy that she met, the one that would help Tamara. So, like I said, it would be crazy if she ends up moving on and Mike tries to get back with her after Melissa and J-Mo get back together. And she's like, no, I'm sorry, can't do it. So, like I said, I understand how y'all feel emotionally, but you gotta get the emotion. You gotta take your emotions out of this nonsense. Cause the emotions gonna have y'all pissed off and it ain't worth it. Sometimes you gotta learn when to put your emotions in something when not to. I don't put my emotions in this stuff because people gonna keep making mistakes and keep doing stupid dumb things and then you're gonna be mad. So, like I said, if people gonna do what they wanna do, then they gonna do it regardless. So I don't get emotionally invested, but I do have empathy, sympathy, and understanding for it all. But that doesn't mean I condone it. So you can have that and still not really be too much involved. So that's the way I look at that. So like I said before, I get ready to get up and get dressed. I'm just gonna say this: these Kountry Wayne skits is something y'all all need to learn from, and y'all all need to understand it can happen to you. Like I said, there's no excuse for negative behavior. God doesn't accept negative behavior. God don't care about why you did what you did. The point is, you went against Him to do something wrong. So in the end, I have that same philosophy. The only way that I will accept what somebody did negatively is if it was where they were forced to and they didn't have a choice. Their life was on the line. They didn't have a choice. But because of word of mouth, absolutely not will I ever accept that. There should be no excuse why somebody convinces you to do something that goes against God in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Especially if you're a godly person. So, no. I don't believe in excuses. So like I said, in the end, Amber got to realize she ain't got no friends and this all falls on her. So like I said, it's just a cautionary tale.